One complaint about Elm that I've made, and I've certainly seen others make it, is that it requires slightly more verbose code than you might be used to. You have to be explicit about a lot of things that in other languages you probably don't. And some people find this annoying because you have to do more typing. This is typing, with the keyboard, not typing with the type system, just to clarify the fact that typing can be used in two different contexts here. And I got this from a video that Jessica Kerr, aka Jessitron, did, a lecture she gave at a conference. So one thing about Elm is it does have a little more boilerplate than some other languages might. And some people like that and some people don't. And, it does take a few extra minutes in the beginning to type that. And, I'm a fast typer, so for me at least it's not a big deal. And my editor auto-completes, which is nice. But, it has another advantage, which is that it does make it a little slower to develop code, but it also, on the flip side, makes it much easier to maintain the code. When I look at the code I wrote 6 months ago, it's often much more explicit what I was trying to accomplish and what I meant than it would be in some other languages. So the explicit versus implicit debate in computer programming is one that has been raging for years. Perl, for example, is very much on the everything is implicit side. And you will often hear Perl, or didn't back in the day at least would have, described as a read-only language, because deciphering and fixing Perl code is a nightmare. Ruby is often very fun to write, but it often can be very difficult to debug later. So Elm takes the opposite approach. We're going to put a little more work up front into the design and the quality of the code, and it will pay off later. Frank Lloyd Wright, the famous architect, once said, it's easier to change a design in the studio with an eraser than on the building site with a sledgehammer. At least I believe he said that. Could be wrong. And I think that's a good philosophy. We're going to create more work and do more planning up front because it will make things easier later. I mean, the truth is most software spends much more time being maintained than being written. So that is another great benefit of Elm. It pushes some costs out of maintenance and into development. And at least up front, that may be annoying, but in the long run, it is very helpful.